podcast party. Descent into Avernus.
My name is Renascence. My friends and I need to leave home in the city of Baldur's Gate and reach the Great Library at Candlekeep. We're trying to meet with a sage, Severa Savicus, to see if she can make sense of an infernal puzzle box we recovered from beneath Van Thampa Villa.
Okay, so you exit Van Thampa Villa. You guys are in the midst of the upper city, and yeah, some of you might want to get things done.
We should buy some healing potions.
Yep.
I think.
Yep, I think there should be some non-roleplayed shopping.
Yes.
So I'd like to buy a healer's kit.
Okay.
I was looking at this. I would like to have my longsword silvered, which I'm told costs 100 gold pieces.
It does, and it takes a long time to silver a longsword. It's not like you just dip it in silver and then you're done.
Got it, yeah. Is it possible to just buy a silvered longsword?
Well, you know, maybe in the upper city, actually. Of all the places that you would find a silver piece of armament, not necessarily used for martial purposes, but maybe for decoration. If you wanted to buy a silver sword, silver is pretty pliable compared to steel.
Not looking to buy a sword made of silver. I'm looking to buy a sword that has been like overlaid with silver, coated with silver, but it would be a steel sword.
Okay. Let's see.
I know what the player's handbook says you pay to have it done to a weapon, but I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I'll have the dice make the decision.
Okay.
Just because.
Sounds good.
I'll roll a d20. I'll make it a 50-50 chance. Let's say 10 to 20, you can find one, and 1 to 9 that you wouldn't.
Sounds good.
All right, 19. So yeah, it takes a little bit of doing, maybe asking around in the upper city and sort of looking down on you, clearly finding you not of noble regard. But you are able to find the sword that you're looking for.
Awesome. Okay, so that is going to be 115.
Okay, that is fair.
And I will buy a healing potion if I can as well.
Super.
Might this shop also sell silvered rapier?
I think that if they would have it, it would be in the same cost arena as the longsword, yeah.
So that'd be 125 gold then for the cost of the rapier.
Yes.
I would love to buy one as well.
Be my guest. You have your hard-earned gold to use.
Thank you. And then also a healing potion, but I assume that's at a different location.
A different shop in the upper city, yeah.
While we're in the upper city, Corbin would like to look for a wine store.
Okay. Yeah, there are multiple wine stores in the upper city.
Whatever Corbin thinks is the fanciest wine store, he is going, whatever that means, he is going to go in and buy 2 expensive bottles of wine.
Okay.
And he's going to tell the guy not to rip him off. His boss knows a lot about wine. It's for religious ceremony, so, you know.
How much money were you intending to spend on said wine? There are bottles that range in price from, 10 gold all the way up to 150 gold.
Oh, no, he's looking for like 25 gold in that range.
Okay. As you sort of pass by because this guy thinks that he's got a real shopper on his hands, even one of the cloth, he sort of looks a little downtrodden as you pass by the really expensive stuff and head over to the 10 to 50 gold area. It's the sort of, bargain basement deals here, at least for this wine store. And you grab a 25 gold bottle of wine or 2, right? You said 2?
Yeah, I'm going to ask him, how much better is the 100 gold bottle?
Oh, the flavor is just so much better, sir. I mean, come on. This is top shelf material. You don't want the tannins are so much more rich with our specialty goods than here. I mean, this is so, if you don't mind my saying so, sir, so lower city.
Oh, right. Yeah, and Corbin just nods like he knows what tannins are. He has no idea. When the guy picks like 100 gold bottle, is he telling him the truth?
Make an insight check.
All right, let's see if I can. 12?
You don't know a whole lot about wine, or clearly this guy may know more than you. He seems to be telling you some sort of truth, I would say.
Okay, Corbin's going to buy 100 gold piece bottle of wine.
Okay. He smiles at you, just rubs his hand together, says, "A great choice, sir. Absolutely amazing choice. You will adore this. It will live in your mouth for days. I promise you that."
I'm not going to drink it.
I'm sorry?
I'm not going to drink it. My boss is going to drink it. You know, he's the one who talks right to Ilmata. So this is the good
yes,
one, right?
Very, very fine choice there, sir.
Okay. So Corbin takes that.
Okay. 100 gold bottle of wine. It's funny how people have different priorities, like, you know, silvered longsword, silvered rapier, bottle of wine. It's cool.
I'd like to get a healing potion as well.
That's what I.
And if I can get some red oxide pigment, it's like a natural pigment, so they would have it in medieval times. If I can get some for my disguise kit somewhere, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, there's like an apothecary that you could buy ground up. It's relatively inexpensive stuff, probably worth less than a gold.
Okay, great.
So are you keeping your non-silvered rapier and your non-silvered longsword?
Yes. Well, I'm keeping mine. I can't speak for Tal.
I suppose there's no particular reason not to keep it, except I'm carrying a lot of shit. Actually, I think I'm probably not, because I don't think it's realistic that I would have a mace, 5 javelins, and 2 longswords.
Yeah, you're kind of like a walking tank at this point.
It becomes comical. Yeah. So I will not keep my original non-silver.
Okay, you could sell that longsword back to the store that you bought your silvered longsword, get 50% of the price.
Okay, so that's 7 gold pieces for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really carrying that much stuff, so I think I'll hang on to it.
You never know when you're going to need 2 rapiers.
Yeah, because we're traveling with what's his name? You know what? Can I give it to Philaster?
Absolutely. Philaster would be glad to have it.
Awesome.
I will lend it to him, but I will want it back if we
Of
part
course.
ways.
Philaster will use your rapier. He sort of takes it, swishes it around. He does an F in the air. He kind of goes, "Oh, he's not bad."
Use it well.
Can we retcon that I used prestidigitation to clean everybody up
Sure.
so we don't look like we just went on a murder spree?
Yes.
Fair. Yeah.
Okay.
How much are healing potions?
50 gold pieces.
Corbin will get 2 healing potions as well.
Fantastic.
Same.
What do you guys want to do besides the shopping that you guys have already accomplished within Baldur's Gate? It's probably getting on towards the afternoon/evening right about now.
I would like to stop at my room
Okay.
and get some of my things. Most importantly, I want to get a little dragon statue that I have. And I want to get a piece of cloth that's embroidered that my mom made. And I would like to try to find Gregarious Nell. She might just be there.
How long do you want to spend? Do you want to just look around, or you want to like make a concerted
I
effort
want
to
to
find
just
her?
quickly look at the different places where she tends to be.
Yeah, sure. Make a perception check.
21.
Yeah, you look around your room. You see all of the things that you have accumulated in your rather short career, the things that you have earned, all the things that you've taken, and you do in fact see that Gregarious Nell is curled up in a corner of the room that you know that she likes to hang out in, and she is sleeping.
I'm just going to go over to her and watch her. She has her little paw over her face, which is the cutest thing in the world. And I just say, "Hello, Nell. Sorry to wake you." And I scratch her little head a little bit.
Her eyes sort of do that thing that cats do, where they sort of like slowly open before they focus, blinking at you a little bit.
I'll just say, I have to go away for a while, so you're going to have to take care of this place, okay? And I'm really going to miss you. And honestly, I'm scared. I don't want to leave, but I have to. So I'll see you, though. I'll see you soon. I'm sure. And if you go by the back door, you know Alan will give you some little tidbits. Everybody loves you anyway. Just you be safe here. I'll miss you.
And Nell, as you scratch the back of her neck, she sort of nuzzles onto your hand a little bit, gives it a little lick. And then she puts her paw on your hand, which is odd because Gregarious Nell, for the most part, you know, once you wake her up, she's a little groggy, she's a little grumpy. But it's strange. It's almost as if she knows what you're saying. You know, cats can't understand people, obviously. But in your heart, you feel like maybe she does this time.
All right. Hunt many a red and vanquish all of your foes. I'll give her a little boop on the nose, and I'll gather my things and go back to find my friends.
Well, just ask Philaster how long the journey to Candlekeep will be.
Philaster says, it is a 5-day journey. It is 150 miles. We are leaving through the Basilisk Gate, yes?
Yes.
Oh, that is good news.
Yeah, we could stop in New Calimshan.
Oh, very much so. We will need to, actually. If we intend to enter Candlekeep, we must, actually. Unless, of course, you have anything on you that I am not aware of that may allow us entry.
Like what?
Oh, you've never been to Candlekeep?
No, I've never left Baldur's Gate.
Oh, I am sorry. I assumed. And when you assume, you make a... Well, you know. Anyway, Candlekeep is a wonderful place. It is very, very old, and many people and powers have wanted to control it for much of time. It is, after all, the repository of much of the knowledge of this world. All that is necessary is for you to present a book that they do not have within the vast annals of the libraries at Candlekeep.
Do you know what? I do have a weird book, actually, that I found at Van Thampa Villa. Do you think they might be interested in this? And I will show him Apocalypto.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Thirstwell's room along with the puzzle box. It was a book he had.
That is correct. You hand it over to Philaster, and he looks at it and goes, what? Wow.
Well, that's what I thought. But, you know, if you like weird books, they might like
you
this.
just say, Clatu Verata Nicto.
I don't know. Is that what language? I don't know. Anyway.
Isn't your brother still in the city?
My cousin.
Your cousin, I'm so sorry. But you wanted to visit him before you left.
Yes. He has something I lent him a long time ago. It was my great-grandmother's, and I thought, well, they definitely don't have this at Candlekeep. It is a book of my family's history. It is, I think, something that they would want, but this, and he points at Apocalypse, this perhaps takes its place?
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we get that as well? And that way, if they don't want one, maybe they want the other. So we've sort of got an insurance book.
That sounds wonderful. And after all, we will get a wonderful meal at my cousin's. I can guarantee you.
Excellent. And I was just thinking, if we were going to be 5 days on the road, I'll just pop into the shop here and buy us all some food and make sure we've got plenty of jerky for
slobber chops.
Yeah, for slobber chops.
You guys, you know I'm a scholar, right?
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, you know, and I usually can get into libraries and whatnot. Just, you know, I can just do it because I'm a scholar. I study books, though they're really boring, but I study them.
Great.
Philaster looks at you and says, what do you mean just get in? Like you have a special, like, scholar pass? I don't understand.
No, you know, like...
It's like they look at him, they say, that's a reader. You know, he's one of us.
No. For the last 10 years at the church, I've been, you know, studying, and I've learned a lot about libraries, and they have a lot of books in them, and usually I can get in, no problem.
Great.
Well, I have to say, libraries that you have gone to are not Candlekeep.
Why?
Well, I guess you'll see when you get there.
All right.
So we're headed to Little Calimshan then, yes?
I just want to drop off the wine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To Brother Hodges.
Brother Hodges, yep.
Corbin's he's going to scout out the place and make sure his mentor isn't anywhere around, and then he's going to sneak in as best he can and go see Brother Hodges.
Okay. At least overtly, you don't see anyone in the Shrine of Suffering. It is late in the day. You see a couple of worshippers, and Brother Hodges is not on the dais, so you assume he's in his office.
All right. Corbin's going to grab some new vestments for himself, and then he's going to head over to the office.
Okay.
Knock on the door. Brother Hodges.
There is no response.
He'll knock again. Brother Hodges.
No response.
He opens the door.
You see Brother Hodges' office. It's clean. It's very well tended to. Brother Hodges is not in his office. His chair is empty. You see papers on his desk.
All right. Corbin's going to walk up, sit in his chair, take a piece of paper and a pen, and he's going to write, "From Corbin, I'm going on sabbatical." And
Nice.
and leave the piece of paper on the desk, and he's going to plop the bottle of wine down on top of it. And also the electrum we took from the Van Thampers.
Okay.
All but 4 pieces. He's going to keep 4. He's going to leave the whole pile of it like under the desk where he would put his feet.
Fantastic.
And then he's going to sneak out.
All right. So then the 6 of you head to the Basilisk Gate. It's about dusk when you reach the gate. And as you have seen it before, there are still throngs of people, maybe not as vocal as they were in the past. You still see groups sitting on the ground in front of the Basilisk Gate, the line of Flaming Fist troops standing in front of it, their pikes at the ready, a couple of people shouting the occasional obscenity, but the gate is still closed.
Look around for Zaj.
Zaj is not there, surprisingly.
He said he would tell the guards to expect us.
Well, let's see if they're expecting then. Make our way towards the gate.
Okay.
Reya, keep your head down. Sister, keep your head down.
She nods.
And cross your hands like this so they can see your palms.
She does the exact motion.
So we start walking towards the gate.
Okay. As you do so, the guards cross their pikes and they say, "No entry, no exit."
I say, by order of Darman Zaj, Commander Portier, we're told we'd be expected.
The guards sort of give a look at each other. Names?
Renascence.
Hylan.
Corbin, and this is the Silent Sister.
Ofelia?
The guards look at each other, and their pikes uncross, and they sort of stand to the side. One of them makes a motion towards the rather enormous basilisk gate that has stood closed this entire time, and they go to the gate and lift the massive crossbar. And this thing is like a tree trunk. It's just enormous. It takes 4 or 5 guards just to lift it and put it aside. Then 2 Flaming Fist guards on either door push the doors apart, and you see a brilliant red sunset streaming through the doors and lighting upon your faces. Standing outside of the gate are 2 things that are odd. You see that there are 6 horses and a carriage. The guard turns to you, who signals to the other guards and says, "Commander Portier said you'd be coming, aye? She said you'd have your choice. Horses or the carriage."
What do we think?
Why not take the carriage, right? Does anyone know how to drive it?
I wouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth.
No.
The carriage sounds alright to me.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we can figure out how to drive it.
Carriage then, right. Fix them up. And he motions to 2 of the Flaming Fist guards to take 2 of the 6 horses and to fix them to the carriage to drive.
Would it be okay with everyone if I just ride a horse beside you?
Fine with me.
Okay then,
Thanks.
I suppose.
I think that's a good idea for scouting and such.
Mm-hmm.
For all the weird shit we've seen the past few days, I'm not sure any of it has made me as uncomfortable as having the Flaming Fist do exactly what we say and then give us a carriage.
I agree.
Hey, you got a coachman to drive that?
No coachman.
I can do it, Ofelia says.
Right, I will climb into the carriage.
Okay.
Next stop, Outer City. Little Calimshan.
Agreed. I'll sit up with Ofelia next to her.
This is great. I can teach you how to drive the carriage so that when I need to rest, you can take over.
And I guess the other 2 go inside. It's a carriage that's enclosed, right?
No, it's not an enclosed carriage. It doesn't have like a roof over it. It is just...
it's like a wagon.
It is a wagon, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's like the one at the beginning of
Last minor $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what that is, but all right, let's go.
Yeah, we'll put Philaster and Reya in the wagon as well.
Okay, very cool. The wagon, I guess you'd probably be right in calling it, rolls out through the Basilisk Gate and down into the outer city. After about 15 or 20 minutes, you make your way into Little Calimshan. Little Calimshan is known as such in that, like other places where they have communities of people that have congregated together because of their heritage, that they are, in fact, pretty much all of Kalishite heritage, as is Philaster. You see that the area is sharply defined by brick and plaster walls. You see that they're about 15 feet tall and topped with minarets in the classic Kalishite style. Now, these walls around Little Calimshan don't just simply surround the neighborhood. It's built almost like a traditional Kalishite city in miniature. Its interior divided into multiple neighborhoods, so you can see that it spans about a mile in diameter. As night approaches, Philaster says, "We must get in before dark, otherwise non-Kalishites will be thrown out. Even ones friends with me."
Got it.
Well, we'd better get inside.
Okay.
Is there somewhere safe we can leave the carriage?
Once we see my cousin, I'm sure the carriage, it will be perfectly fine.
Seem a little nervous, Philaster.
Oh, no. It's, we just have to watch out for, we have a little bit of a problem internally at Little Calimshan. There is a gang war. How do I best put it? Yeah, there is a little bit of a gang war in Little Calimshan, from what I remember.
A touch of gang war.
Just a touch, yes.
Okay.
Are you on one side of that gang war or the other?
My family is not involved. It is the youth that is involved. They seem to be warring against each other at night. Certainly is when they are most prevalent. But that said, we have quite a decent force of, some would call them a militia, that will guard us from their attacks. The Amlakars are wonderful people.
I'm just going to take a look around, see if anyone seems to be trailing the wagon.
Perception check.
Is he telling the truth?
And then insight check for you.
I did get a dirty 20 on the perception check.
No one trailing you that you can see, and Corbin
Got a 21 on his insight.
seems to be telling the truth about the gang war and about his family.
Okay. All right, let's get inside then.
The wagon goes a little faster inside the walled community. Here we are. And he sort of points you, Ofelia, to a small house within the walled community. And you see that the architecture is quite beautiful, actually. It has sort of that same style to it that you've seen throughout the rest of this particular area, except the walls are whitewashed and have these beautiful blue tiles inset into it. And there is an oaken door in front. Philaster dismounts off the wagon and says, "Come, let's go."
Where should we put the carriage?
"Oh, this is fine. Right here. Just hitch up the horses and I'm sure my cousin will get to it."
All right.
Okay, tie up my horse.
All right.
Yep.
He walks to the door and knocks on it 4 times. And a gruff voice responds, "Go away. We are not part of this." And Philaster calls inside and says, "Cousin, it is Philaster. Please open the door before the sun goes down, please. Yeah, I have people who wish to come inside." "Oh, Philaster, what are you doing?" And the door opens, and there is a rather stocky, olive-skinned man with a magnificent beard, wearing bright blue silken gown, comes to the door. Atop his head, he has a small blue circular cap, and his eyes are a light brown. And he says, What are you doing? Who are they?" No. They are not part of the gangs. They are my friends. Please, may we enter?" And he does a deep bow. And he says, "Cousin, Are you kidding me? Come. And he just grabs him into a giant bear hug that lifts him off the ground and then puts him on his feet again. Of course, your guests are my guests. Please enter. Hi, everybody. The show will be back in just a minute for the second half, but right now, I'm going to tell you about our live events, our free online games, and much more. As always, we're offering monthly free online adventures with our Dungeon Masters. Now, these free games really do fill up quite quickly, so if you'd like to grab a spot, you should join our email list or our Discord server. Links to both can be found at cast-party.com. On Discord, you can also be part of our free bonus live audio show, Power Word Talk. And of course, our professional Dungeon Masters are available to hire for online games, special occasions, parties, corporate team building events, weddings. Well, anytime you need an adventure, we'll be there. Check us out at cast-party.com and follow us on Facebook at CastPartyDND or Twitter at CastParty2. If you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, leave us a review. We're doing this as a labor of love, and it really helps us a lot. And we'd really love to hear from you. Message us on social media or email us at info@cast-party.com. Thanks very much for listening. And now, back to our adventure in Baldur's Gate. To what may I owe this visit, cousin? And Philaster says, well, of course, your wonderful cooking and your hospitality. I have been so far afield in my particular profession. I only thought it fair that while I was in town, that I come to visit you. Of course. Please, you may stay for dinner if your guests wish to eat Calimshan food. And he turns to you.
Yeah.
Very well. I will begin preparations. Please, make yourself at home. And you look, and the house is small. It's only 2 rooms. Just below the sort of main foyer, it's all whitewashed marble, mostly granite and stucco, and there are cushions that are placed around the room, maybe a single table and a single chair. The other room is it serves, I guess, 2 purposes. It is a bedroom and a kitchen. You see that there is a rather small bed, and right next to it, a stove and multiple pots and pans hanging from the ceiling. The most notable set of items in that room is the amazing and beautifully colored array of foodstuffs. You see herbs and spices hanging from the ceiling. You see them in jars, reds and yellows and greens and dried meats. Clearly, this individual he's a foodie.
I say thank you for bringing us here, Philaster.
Of course. You saved me, so the least I could do is get you a decent meal.
I say, Reya, this is still technically the city, so I think you should still keep your head down, at least until we're over the Chiontha. I have been out in Little Calimshan a few times, and you do occasionally still see the fist out here. But once we're over Worm's Crossing, they'll lose interest.
Let's hope so. About an hour or so later, you are treated to a wonderful meal of spiced bread and a chicken dish with some kind of a yogurt sauce to it. Fruits and vegetables are arranged delicately around the plates. God, I'm getting hungry just talking about this. Sorry.
Thanks, man.
The bread, as you tear it open, you see that it has cheese stuffed inside it. And it just issues forth this amazing smell.
Does the steam come out of the bread when we
you better believe it. Not only does the steam come out of the bread, but as you open it, it makes that awesome crackle sound, like that.
And the cheese is all gooey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, this guy knows what he's doing.
This is good bread.
I'm so hungry now.
This is incredible.
Sort of close my eyes so as to fully experience the cheese bread.
Yeah. Of course, there is the prerequisite amazing amount of wine as well that Philaster Fisk's cousin, who you find his name is actually Kemed Khalid. He comes around with this enormous jug of wine and continues throughout the meal to pour you all, almost as if, overflowing to a certain degree, wine, as any good host should, of course, do.
Corbin doesn't drink.
Okay.
Renaissance does.
I'll steal his bread when he drinks too much.
Yeah, exactly. Sleight of hand check.
Yes.
The wine's not bad. It's kind of like I guess, for those of us in the real world, it's kind of like a really nice Chianti, except without the fava beans. It's just really, it's like a fruity, rich red wine.
Mm.
And it pairs so well with the meal.
Philaster, is there, oh, this is really good. Is there anything we should know about Silvira Savicus?
Well,
I think you mentioned she's a tiefling like me.
Yes, that she is. She is a, how best to put it? Well, let's start at the beginning. She is a person of good heart. She wants nothing but the best for this world. She has found that although she cannot perform these feats through acts of valor or bravery, instead, she would use her mind to do so. And no better place to do so than in Candlekeep, where she has been installed as a sage, one of those who wish to research and find ways of embettering the world through knowledge and wisdom.
How did she come to be interested in this mess?
She has been watching for many, many years. People like Thavius Krieg. Vested interest, you might say. But more of that when you meet her. I don't want to spill the beans.
Yeah.
Speaking on her behalf, of course.
She sounds a bit like my brother. He's been waiting for something like this for many years as well.
Ah, interesting. Maybe it is a tiefling trait.
Maybe.
But I hope you have enjoyed the meal. Khalid is an amazing chef. Are you not, Hamed? And he, from the kitchen, who is preparing the dessert, says, "You just wait."
What is the dessert?
You wait about 20 minutes for your main meal to digest, and he comes out with a tray of 6 steaming cups. And he lifts the top of the cup off, and inside is a beautiful pastry.
Amazing.
Oh no, please try it. You cannot say this without trying it.
I try it.
It is...
Amazing.
Uh-huh, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It is, your mouth explodes with delight. It is... Your teeth pierce the cocoa or chocolate coating, which sort of sinks in like fudge. It then passes through the crackly pastry layers, and then you taste, what is that? Is that cherries? Is that, oh no, it's peaches and cherries. It's some kind of a jam or a compote of peaches and cherries mixed together.
Yeah, can you say this slower?
D&D, food porn, the podcast.
We gotta put a disclaimer for our audience that they can't listen to this while they're hungry.
That's true.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah, definitely do so.
Content warning at the beginning.
Rich, creamery cheese.
Oh man,
that was kind of hot, actually.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gotta loosen my collar a little bit here. It is potentially the best meal that you have had in a very, very long time.
Oh, it sounds like maybe ever.
Maybe ever.
Yeah.
And after the meal, Hamed lies down on one of these enlarged cushions and grabs a rather sizable, some kind of device made out of metal, and begins to he puts it in his mouth and you see little vapors come out of it. He goes, "That is some of my best work, I'll be honest." Philaster turns to Hamed and says, "Cousin, it has been, what, 5 years since we have seen each other. And Hamed says, yes, I mean, you have been away for so long. What are you doing at Candlekeep? Oh, it is just my profession. I work for a very important woman. Oh, you work for a woman? Interesting. Perhaps you could introduce me. Oh, cousin. No, I will not. Anyway, we are making our way out of Baldur's Gate and back to Candlekeep, and I was wondering, perhaps if you would, if you would give me, the book. And Hamed, his whole posture turns defensive and a little bit offended, perhaps, even. You don't even need to make an insight check, as he sort of sits upright and says, the book, you know that is our family's last relic. This is the reason why the Khalids and the Fisks have never gotten along. You always ask of us, and you never give back anything. And Philaster says, but cousin, it is important. We need this book.
I say steady on, Philaster. If it's an important book for your family, maybe they'll just take Apocalypto. It's not exactly a page turner, and I don't mind parting with it.
I guess that is true. But I thought that you had said that we'd need it for, as you said, insurance?
Ideally, yeah, but I'd like to just assure your cousin that it's not our first choice to hand it over. We'll do what we can to keep it. We'll be offering this one first.
Philaster says, well, okay, I guess so. I knew that they do not have this book at Candlekeep, and after all of the recipes are already in your head. You don't really need it anymore, do you, cousin? And Hamed Khalid says, well, technically, no, I don't. But it is our family's legacy, Philaster. I do think that it is important to make sure that there is some remnant of it left behind. I am sorry for being so uptight about it. It is the last thing that great-grandmother gave to grandmother, and then grandmother gave to me when she died, and I have no one to pass it along to, so...
How large is the book? Could it be copied easily over the course of a few days?
He says, see for yourself. And he motions to the inside of his bedroom. And there, sitting atop the stove, is a tome. It looks to be about 400 or 500 pages thick.
Wow.
That is a lot of pages. But how long is our journey?
5 days.
Do we think perhaps we could copy over everything in 5 days?
There is a vast silence.
I suppose not.
If we all worked on it,
we would need 500 pieces of paper, but we could probably get that or have somebody get it.
Tell you what, Philaster, in the morning, we're going to set out, but maybe you could see if you can get like an empty book or just some parchments, and we'll each take turns and we'll try to copy your book as we're on the road. We've got the wagon, so can do some writing as we travel. I think they're going to love Apocalypto, to be honest.
Okay. Philaster says, I guess copying a 500-page book is going to take a long time. I don't even know if we'll be done in 5 days, so...
Well, look, but we'll save what we can, right? You just mark out, like, kind of dog-ear what's the best recipes, and we'll do those first.
Oh, I had thought that perhaps this would be, whatever we copied over would be what we gave to the people at Candlekeep.
Oh, I was thinking they'd want the book, but we could sort of save the best bits for his family.
Yeah, they don't have to know that we have. Well, we could try. We could try giving the notes first, and if they don't want them, then...
Yeah, Philaster says, yes, books. They do not take just spare papers.
I feel sad about this.
Philaster sort of, as you say that, he says, you do not need to feel sadness, of course. I believe that the book that you have, this, what did you call it, Apocalypto, will suffice.
Yeah.
I wish I knew about it before. I apologize for perhaps insinuating myself too much with you, cousin. We have another way of going to Candlekeep.
Yeah, we've got no sort of emotional attachment to this thing. I wave the like black book around. Well, glad to see the back of it.
Okay. Hamed says, I am relieved, I must say, that you will not be taking what is the last living artifact of our family's legacy with you, especially if you are taking it to a place that I may never see. I will miss you, cousin. It has been too long. And you all, of course, you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you. That's very kind.
If it's all right with you, maybe we can sort of crash here
Oh,
for the
yes,
night.
absolutely. My cushions are your cushions.
Great.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Can I help you clean up?
No, of course not.
Thank
And he
you.
turns back into the kitchen and begins to quietly clean up the amazing meal that you have all just partaken.
Then we will settle in and go to sleep.
Okay.
I will attune to Heaven's Fall.
Yeah, absolutely. It is now yours in both name and deed. You all settle off to sleep. Reya wraps herself in the garments that you have given to her and shuts her eyes. Philaster takes a woolen blanket, covers himself with it, also goes to sleep. And all of you find peace just outside of the city of Baldur's Gate.
Fantastic.
Ofelia, as you go to sleep, you, for some reason, feel cold. It is something that you have to adjust your clothing and pull the blanket a little bit closer. And then you feel no longer the soft cushions underneath you, but hard, wet cobblestones. You are now on the streets of Baldur's Gate. The rain is coming down from a cloudy night. The moon illuminating the clouds with a pale halo. And as you lift yourself off the ground, you see Cliffgate Hospital. The doors are imposing, massive, and you see that they have two rather frightening-looking door knockers. The door knockers themselves look like boars, and the rings come through the mouths of these particular boars. And this is, you're not sure, is this a dream? Is this a memory? Maybe a little bit of both. You were here. Renascence told you to go in this way.
I reach out and touch the door.
The door is more than 20 or 30 feet tall. It's staggering how big it is, and so you think that you would have to be a giant to push open these doors. But as soon as your hand touches the door, it slowly moves open.
I step inside.
The inner room, one would call it the receiving room, of Cliffgate Hospital is empty. There are no patients, no attendants, no doctors, no one but yourself.
Can I hear anything, or is it silent?
You do hear something. Far off, perhaps above you, male voice. And although you can't make out the words, it is a high, reedy voice. And to whom it is speaking, again, you're not sure. You would have to get closer.
Well, I guess I will. Ofelia walks down the hall. Do I find any stairs?
There is a staircase, a rather sizable marble staircase that goes up to the second floor.
Ofelia takes a deep breath, steadies herself, and begins to walk up the stairs.
You walk up this massive staircase to the third floor, just as Renascence instructed you, to where you know the operating room is. Perhaps 30 or 40 feet above the main lobby level. You look down into the foyer where you just were. You see sort of a checkerboard pattern of tiles on the floor. And you see that there are stains of some kind that have been maybe over time unable to be washed away. They're sort of light brown, green stains.
Ofelia shivers. She feels chilled to the bone, but she keeps walking toward the direction of the voice.
You pass through a long hallway. On both sides of the hallway, there are 7-foot tall oaken doors. All of them have metal bars across them and small rectangular face plates. They are closed, and you don't hear anything behind any of them. At the end of the hallway is where the noise is coming from. And as your feet move slowly, methodically, almost hypnotically, towards this voice, you see on the side of the doorframe Doctor Holk Thinster.
Ofelia again takes a deep breath, steadies herself, and with a purpose and clarity she's never felt before, walks through the door.
The man inside this room is wearing a long white coat. It has small white circlets around the waist, through which a leather belt is strapped. And this individual's back is facing you, so you can't really see their face. Although the voice issuing forth is a male one. And it is hunched over a long, rectangular metal table. There are a variety of instruments laid out on a smaller table next to him. And he is speaking to someone, perhaps on the table or near the table. You're not quite sure from your vantage point. But as you get closer, you hear the words coming from this man's mouth. The question is not settled. It's not settled at all. Madness? What is it? Is it the loftiest intelligence? Yes, I think it is. Whether much of that is glorious, whether all that is profound, does not spring from disease of thought. Yes, from moods of mind exalted at the expense. And he sort of almost strangely knowing your presence stops speaking, straightens up in a very mechanical way, and pivots to face you. The man that you see facing you now has slicked back black, oily hair. His eyes are almost too big for their sockets, and in front of them you see that he wears a large pair of thick-lensed spectacles with multiple lenses stacked one in front of the other. He has a very tapered, almost triangular face, and his lips are bloodless and flat. He faces you and removes one of his multiple lenses, and you see that his eyes are cold and blue. And he says, "Oh, finally, you're here. Please, gown up." And he motions to a long white medical gown hanging on a hook.
Ofelia says, "No, I don't think I will be donning a gown today, Dr. Thinster."
He cocks his head in an almost sort of bird-like fashion and says, "I beg your pardon?"
"I will not be donning a gown today. I will not be one of your little experiments. I know what you've been doing here. The people you've been disappearing, what have you done with them?"
His laugh is cold and almost mocking and says, "What have I been doing with them? Who are you?"
"Why do you even want to know? Why would you even care? Do you know the names of the others that have come before me? They were all people. They were people with families and friends, and they mattered. Gods know what you've done with them. Where are they now, Dr. Thinster?"
He removes long black leather gloves from his hands, and you see that he has sort of broken, chipped nails and long, almost spider-like hands underneath. And he says, "Where are they?" "Well, if you wish to know, by all means." And he steps back from the table. And it's a horror. A mismatched, multi-limbed, humanoid-esque creature with hands sprouting from places where hands ought not to be, multiple legs, some longer than others, and a single head. This one with features that clearly are from multiple people. You see a brown eye, and across from it, a green eye, a nose half-formed, a cheek from a young girl, clearly, as you can see that it is freckled and youthful, and across from it, a sagging, wrinkled cheek, which blends into a malformed mouth. And something you notice, Ofelia, is that this thing, this amalgamation of parts, there's something about it as your eyes trace up towards this mishmash of a face, that the lower part of it is it sewn into the skin? No, it can't be. You see wisps of a braided red beard, one that you know all too well. And he steps back from it almost with pride and says, "It's fine. Finest masterwork. Beautiful, no?"
You're a monster.
Monster? I am a monster? No, my dear. I am not a monster. Think of all the good that I have done here. I've taken the refuse of this godforsaken city, the useless, the hopeless, the ones that have no future, and I have made a future for those who deserve it.
You had no right to take away their futures. No right in the name of what? In the name of science? This isn't science.
Oh, please do spare me your platitudes, science, gods. What blasphemy do you accuse me of? What gods have the right over man? Gods, repulsed by the miserable humanity that they have no recourse in aiding? To achieve greatness? And his voice begins to it becomes cavernous and almost echoes through the room. I will not be shackled by the failures of gods. The only blasphemy is to wallow in insignificance. I have taken the refuse of gods, and I have triumphed.
Ofelia takes a step toward him. She looks him right in the eye. She says, "This ends now. All of this. How could you possibly think that what the world needs is an abomination like this, is more cruelty and more destruction? Why would you be a part of that? What is it that you hope to achieve?"
He looks at you, and in a very quiet, almost solemn voice, he says, "Perfection."
Ofelia steels herself. She whispers, "I'll see you in hell." And her eyes roll back. Far in her head, she begins to mutter, and she casts dissonant whispers. With all of the force that she has in her, she musters it up, and she sends it shooting out into Dr. Thinster. All of the rage, all of the pain, all of the terror that she feels, she puts it into this spell and projects it toward him.
It is like a wave of power that you have never felt. All of the pain of your former life, all of the disappointment, all of the torment, all of the challenge, all of the hope, all of the dreams, all of the love that you have felt for other people, you channel into this spell. And the air ripples as it travels the distance between yourself and Dr. Thinster and enters him. His hair just shoots back as if blown back by a stiff wind, and his skin begins to ripple as if placed in front of an enormous fan. His eyes begin to bug out of their sockets, and his mouth opens in an inhuman scream of fear and torment. He balls up his fists and runs screaming through this enormous stained glass window behind him, and pieces of colored glass fly everywhere and down into the street below.
No. I wasn't supposed to go through the window. She runs to the window.
You look down. 50 feet from your position is the broken, mangled body of Dr. Holk Thinster. Blood is beginning to pool out of his broken head, and shattered glass is arrayed around his form. And running out of a nearby alley are 3 figures. You see Renascence, you see Hylan, you see Corbin. They come close to the body. Renascence kneels down to it, places his hand on Dr. Thinster's neck, looks over at Corbin, shakes his head, and then, all at once, all 3 of them look up at you at the windowsill.
Ofelia shakes her head. She gestures at them. She puts her hands in the air and she says, I don't know what happened. I didn't mean to.
They all continue to stare at you. And then you just watch Corbin's mouth in slow motion mouth the word murderer. Hylan does the same, her eyes glowing.
Murderer.
Renascence.
Murderer.
I didn't mean for it to happen like this, but he was a monster.
As you say, he was a monster, your own words echo in your own head.
I'll see you in hell!
Louder, louder. It screams in your own mind.
I'll see you in hell!
And then you wake up.
Ofelia shoots up from the floor where she was sleeping. Her eyes dart around the room.
It's the middle of the night. All of your companions are asleep.
She sits for a moment, takes a deep breath, steadies herself, and as she returns to slumber, she just hums a little tune to herself. Come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither. She falls asleep.
Thanks for listening. This episode featured Tal Aviezer as Renascence, Andy Cannistra as Painbearer Corbin Shiv, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia Liadon, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, and me, Matt Gordon, as the Dungeon Master. This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox and Tal Aviezer. Our original theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony DiMasso. Remember, if you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode. Good stuff. All right, let's pick up on the morning. You guys,
thank God.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
We can't, yeah.
Everybody gets their own nightmares. No.